Mr. Johnson, you attended an event in 2020. It was called We Don't Call Police. And that same year you said it was a political goal to defund the police.
The National Police Association, it looks like they're taking aim at him with this Freedom of Information request.
It carried him to a surprise victory, one that he portended a decade earlier.
There's no Superman. There's no hero. The heroes are actually those in the room right here that are on the front line every single day.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, your boy, Brandon Johnson, you know that he recently called law enforcement a sickness. And if you haven't seen that, we're going to show you the clip here.
I get so sick and tired of people in this country and in this city that believes that the only thing that you can offer black people and poor people is jails, incarceration, and police officers. Dr. King said this right here in Chicago, the National Conference on New Politics. What did he say? He said militarism is a sickness. The fact of the matter is we are driving violence down on this city, and we're using every single resource that's available to us. Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities.
But there has been repercussions and ramifications and fallout from that comment, and it seems like it's all bad for your boy. Now, one thing I wondered, was he one of those defund the police types, back in the 2020, 2021 era where people were saying defund the police? Was he one of those? Do you want to venture a guess? You want to venture a guess, a yay or a nay? What would you say? Does he look like a defund the police type of individual? Well, we're going to look at that today. And we're also going to look at a letter from the National Police Association, a Freedom of Information request, where they're looking to get some information about your boys, Chicago police stats, etc. They're looking to get information about that, and we'll find out why. So here we have Brandon Johnson, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, who's in hot water with law enforcement as his city is among the most violent in the country, y'all. So without further ado, y'all, let's go ahead and hop right into it. But before we do, y'all, make sure you take care of your money. I'm not going to make this a long one, y'all. Go to Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com, or call 844-651-8334, 844-651-8334. If you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your retirement, protected from inflation, protected from monetary debasement, you're about to retire. Make sure your money's still there and it's still worth something by investing at least some of it in gold. Talk to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Go click the link now, get the free information, and protect your precious retirement.
Mr. Johnson, you attended an event in 2020. It was called We Don't Call Police. And that same year you said it was a political goal to defund the police. Here is what you said.
The president of the United States, the former president of the United States, President Barack Obama, took it one step further as well, and basically said that the effort of the defund police movement lost an audience because of that that slogan, I guess is what he's calling it, which I don't look at it as a slogan. It's an actual real political goal.
So, Mr. Johnson, what do you say to Chicagoans who do want more officers in their neighborhoods?
Well, my public safety plan does just that. It's why in my public safety plan, we're going to promote, train, and hire 200 more detectives so that we can actually solve crime in the city of Chicago. It's going to cost me roughly $50 million to make sure that we are actually administering the consent decree. Right now, we're not administering the consent decree and we're not solving violence in the city of Chicago. By promoting and hiring 200 more detectives, we actually can solve crime. Because
what happens to those officers who are promoted? What happens to refilling those?
Well, look, the way you recruit officers, you got to make sure When people are working on the front line, you can't ask police officers to do their job and someone else's. The fact of the matter is, almost 40% of the 911 calls that are coming through are mental health crises. I know what it's like to wake up and serve the front line, right, as a public school teacher. And you don't ask people to do their job and someone else's. We have to make sure that we're providing the support on the front line so that we can alleviate the pressure from police officers so that they can deal with the more violent, serious crimes.
So there you see the illustrious sub. I'm just going to call him the illustrious sub for short here. So there you see the illustrious sub saying he wants to defund the police. He wants that to be part of his political platform, and he has the numbers to show that defunding the police, well, it helps his city to become or to remain one of the most violent in the country. And now, y'all, the National Police Association, it looks like they're taking aim at him with this Freedom of Information request. They're looking for requested records specifically for each calendar year from 2023 through present. They're looking for arrests of suspects who are illegal aliens. Now, why would they be looking for that? Now, I can't speak for them, but the interesting thing is Chicago is a city. Now, get this. Chicago is a city where if they arrest a person who's in the country without permission, they find out that that person is a criminal, even up to an unaliver. I like using that word now. A murderer, y'all. They will actually release that person back onto the street instead of calling ICE to pick that person up. I'm gonna say that again. Chicago, they arrest somebody who they find out is a person in the country without permission who is a murderer. They will release that person back onto the street instead of calling ICE to come pick that person up. So I guess that's one of the reasons why the National Police Association wants to know about arrests of suspected illegal aliens, people who have violent crimes, property crimes, other offenses. They want to know about pretrial release, recidivism rate, victims injured, victims killed, victim economic losses. Y'all, they have a whole litany of things that they're looking to know. But let's take a look at the purpose. The purpose of this request is to obtain information that can shed light on the public safety implications of Chicago's sanctuary city policies by documenting crimes, outcomes, and costs associated with illegal alien offenders in the city. Chicago's leaders have taken the position that the city's sanctuary status does not comprise public safety. This request seeks to gather the data underlying or relevant to that position. We believe the city of Chicago, through the mayor's office, that's the illustrious one, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. Through his office, the Chicago Police Department or other relevant agencies may have access to or have compiled the requested statistics and analyses. If certain portions of the requested information are maintained by another city department, for example, the Chicago Office of Emergency Management and Communications or Cook County agencies, please consider this a request for such records as well. So y'all, they're trying to basically, my interpretation is they're trying to find out, do the stats match the public claims? They're trying to find out what's really going on here. Now, y'all, you may find it interesting to learn, where did he come from? Where did this guy, where did he emerge from? You know, what socialistic swamp did he kind of crawl out from? And you're in luck. I found a report on that, and I'm going to just give you some clips about where your boy, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor of Chicago, where he came from, how he got his start, and how he came to be so illustrious and so sub 10% approval rating. You are in for a treat, y'all. Check this out.
The real victory was in establishing the union as perhaps the strongest force in Chicago politics since the Daily Machine.
We're pushing for dignity and respect for our students. Certainly they deserve much better than what they've been offered.
Johnson, who taught in the Chicago public schools, was also a union organizer. But in 2012, he was mainly in the background at marches and news conferences.
He moved an agenda to not only close down schools, but to close the largest number of schools in our nation's history.
It was then that Johnson emerged as a public, personal face of the stinging school closures.
Our neighborhood school was closed. No one asked me whether or not my school should be closed. And so now my sons and the kids that he's growing up with do not have access to a public neighborhood school.
It was a reminder that real power over the schools was concentrated on the 5th floor of City Hall and focused candidate
The reason why we don't have enough police officers is because we're asking them to be social workers.
who could hold his own on the stage.
I'm not going to take responsibility for white supremacy. Look, the fact of the matter is that we have lived under structural imbalance for a very long time.
In the first round of voting, Paul Vallis was the top vote getter, but Johnson surged past the incumbent and the one-time frontrunner, Chuy Garcia, setting up what was viewed as a proxy battle for the direction of the National Democratic Party and a struggle for the soul of the city. And once again, it was foreshadowed at that panel discussion a decade earlier.
Mayor Daley at that time took complete control of the public school system. And then he had this ingenious idea to put Paul Vallis in charge of the public school system. And if you look at Paul Vallis's record, Paul Vallis is actually the grandfather of privatization and corporate takeover of public schools.
But Johnson consolidated public union support and attracted high-profile national endorsements from progressive leaders, U.S. Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren.
I will have the best job in the world, to be an ambassador for a world-class city, especially as we address the critical issues.
Johnson's inclusive message inspired young people, and his effective electoral ground game turned out the votes. It carried him to a surprise victory, one that he portended a decade earlier.
There's no Superman, there's no hero. The heroes are actually those in the room right here that are on the front line every single day.
So yeah, y'all, there you have it. He got to start off as like an organizer. You know, he was a teacher, probably the world's best, and probably should have stayed as the world's best social studies teacher. Y'all stop promoting social study teachers to be illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayors, please, okay? But anyway, he was a social studies teacher or something like that in Chicago, and so he became some kind of community organizer with the teachers union. And the man does know how to talk, you know. Don't like what he's saying, but he does know how to put it together. And so he talked his way into a mayorship, y'all. Basically, he talked his way all the way up to being the mayor of not just the mayor, the illustrious sub 10% approval rating mayor. So y'all, let me know, what do you think? Do you think that Brandon Johnson's, do you think his policies are right for Chicago? Do you think his defund the police policies are right for Chicago? Do you think that his 40% of our 911 calls are for mental health, so we don't need police officers, we need mental health workers? Like, do you agree with that? Do you think 911 should be like a mental health hotline? Let me know what y'all think, y'all, down in the comments. But before you do, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Y'all go down, click that link in the description, Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com, to protect your retirement from the upsies, downsies, the roundsies, and the roundsies. Now, y'all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just play his defund the police clip here in its entirety. And then I want everybody, click on the video that pops up on your screen, y'all. That's taking you to Paralegal Reacts. That's taking you to Paralegal Reacts, y'all. We have another channel that we're launching. I need y'all to watch that video. It's on a huge fraud, more fraud in Minnesota, y'all. You're going to enjoy that video. Click on it, watch it, subscribe to that channel. Don't forget to like. I want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.
The President of the United States, the former President of the United States, President Barack Obama, took it one step further as well, and basically said that the effort of the defund police movement lost an audience because of that that slogan, I guess is what he's calling it, which I don't look at it as a slogan. It's an actual real political goal. We know the mayor of Chicago here rebuked this call to redirect money to defund this failed system of incarceration and policing. So whether it's the president of the United States, calling it a catchy hashtag or phrase, Lori Lightfoot, which I think is actually quite dismissive of the young people who are literally putting their lives on the line for a cause that I think, quite frankly, is not just admirable, but is necessary.